Well, in the last video, we showed you the gray tanks and told you a little bit of what we were going to do. And so you can see it here. And so there's two of them, and they have a piece of ABS on the bottom here. Just so many rocks and stuff that kick up. This is the back tank, so it's another tank in front of it right here. But there's three fittings on each tank. So the two tanks are connected by this larger 1.5 inch tube, and they're also connected by this smaller 1/2 inch. And of course each one has a vent, and I haven't hooked up my vent lines yet, but you can see the vent fitting back there. Lighting's hard under here. So anyway, this is the front tank, and this is where the line comes in through the floor. I haven't sealed that yet, but it's a really tight fit. But that will be sealed. We have, like I said, this line goes between the two, so that the two tanks fill up together. Okay, water seeks its own level. So that's my balancing line right there. Then the other two are the drain, and so I have a valve here so I can shut off, the drain from the two tanks. And the reason I didn't go with a larger drain like is common on RVs and so forth is that I figure I'm not going to be draining it at RV parks and stuff like that. So I've set up a system using a pump, and here's my pump. So I've got a valve here so I can turn off the drain from the tanks going to the pump if I had to service the pump. And then it comes out of the pump to a garden hose fitting. And that allows me to pump this up a grade, because the trailer's fairly low to the ground, so you don't have a lot of gravity feed. The tanks aren't that thick, so you don't have a lot of head. So it's a way for me to have a little more versatility on draining my tanks. And another wire coming down here you can see, and none of this has been loomed and tucked up. Nothing's really finalized, it's just in place for testing. And I'll give a little something away in my testing. We got a little bit of a leak right here on the input, and it's just very, very small leak, and it's leaking from right here. So going to be taking a few things apart and redoing things. I dislike plumbing because leaks drive me nuts. So it's very, very small leak, slow leak, but it's a leak, and I don't like any. So anyway, that's the system. Drains into this front tank, balanced between the two tanks using this 1.5 inch line, and then the two tanks are connected together through a drain line that's 1/2 inch. Goes to a pump. It's a 5 gallon per minute pump. So in under 10 minutes I can drain both these tanks. And like I said, using a garden hose, so I can pump at a distance, I can pump it up a little bit of elevation, so forth, that you can't do with just a gravity drain. Well, let's look and see what things look like, what we've changed up front. And I told you we were going to have a shield on the front here, so here's the shield on the leading tank, ABS to protect from any rocks, shooting up, and we got the shield here for the fitting coming out right there. But This is kind of the low point. Is this one hose going to the pump. But definitely not the lowest point on the trailer. The axles are actually a couple inches. I forget exactly how many, but they're the low point are the axles. Actually, the springs are the low point, but the axles are much lower than my tanks. Although my tanks are lower than the cross members. Well, let's go up on the top side and see what's going on. Before we go in the trailer, I thought I'd show you the diagram of my system. So we've got the 50-gallon freshwater tank. It's sitting just in front of the fender well on the driver's side, or opposite the door side of the trailer. And so then I had to squeeze this, my bathroom wall, and the shower stall all in a finite distance. So you'll see that once we go in. So of course we've got a fill on the outside of the trailer and a vent. This is a standard, RV kind of fill. And then we've got the outlet, and I've got a valve right away, so we can shut off if you have any problem. The only possibilities here would be a leak in the tank or the fitting or at the valve. So premise is that valve isolates the tank from everything else. So after the valve we have a pump. Again, I'm using the same pump as we're using for the gray tank drain. It's a 5-gallon per minute pump. And then we have this water meter sending unit, and it just measures the flow. Not that I won't be able to see what's in here, but this will just give me an idea of what our consumption is. How many gallons am I using on a shower and everything. Anyway, I threw that in there. And then we go to a T, and one direction the T takes us over to the hot water heater. I have a valve that I can isolate the hot water heater, and of course the water heater heats the water, making hot water, and then that goes to both the sink and the shower, and you have a pressure relief valve which will go down through the floor and outside. The other side of this T goes up here to another T which splits the cold water side to the shower and to the sink. And because the sink's going in at a later time, and I want to be able to test the shower and everything else, I have two valves here so that I can test the rest of the system and isolate the sink from the rest of the system. So you can see the hot water comes up here, goes to the shower, switched going to the sink. Cold water goes to the shower, switched going to the sink. And then I have the drain from the sink and the drain from the shower goes to the gray tanks. And I showed you the gray tanks underneath. So let's go take a look at these things as they appear in the trailer. Well, here's the water tank. Like I said, it's a 50-gallon water tank, and it fits right up against the front of the fender here on the side opposite the door. And then I built a wall, and it's basically 3 feet from where the V nose would start, so not all the way to the V, and it's a real shallow V on this trailer. It's only like 15 or 16 inches. But anyway, so the walls from, if the trailer were squared off, it were 3 feet back and to this side of the wall. So it's a 32 by 32 shower, and so we'll look at that in a moment. Here's where the fill comes through the wall. This is just the drain line that will be going to the sink. I just got it out of the way there. So the the fill comes in, goes down here and fills the tank. And this, of course, is the vent line and goes up here to the fill, as is commonly done. So coming out of the tank, we come out, I'm using PEX, it comes out and goes to that valve. So just like I said, very short run, goes to the valve. From there it goes to the pump. The pump's underneath my shower, and we'll look at that in a moment. And here's the back side of the shower. So we have the water shut-offs there, and then up to the shower head. And then these are the T's, like I said, that will be going to the sink when it is installed in place. And so the cabinet comes out beyond the tank here. There's going to be a grill right here on both sides, little grill. Like I said, don't have the wall in yet, but that's to allow air to go between the bathroom and the rest of the trailer. So when you're running the fan, you're not just pulling, under the door kind of thing. I want to have good flow so that any steam or anything will exit out that bathroom fan easily. And you have to balance your pressures. Here's my switches for the light and the fan in the bathroom backside there. This panel will be removable, and I'll show you that at a point when we get to it. Of course, this is just the back side of a medicine cabinet. There's going to be 3 cabinets in the bathroom. Well, maybe even more than that, but at least 3. So let's take a look inside. Well, straight in the door, what we see right now is the 4-gallon electric water heater. That will be in a cabinet. There's going to be a lower cabinet with a counter, and then there will be an upper cabinet and a mirror and everything. And then beside the shower here in the V, that's going to be a closet for all sorts of miscellaneous storage. I'll have some shelves in there, everything. And it's, like I said, that's about, I don't know, it's about 14, 15 inches between the shower and the wall right here. So not a lot of space, but we're not going to waste any space. The other side here, like I said, we've got the medicine cabinet, and in this area will be the dry flush toilet, and I think some other storage will be in here because, like I said, this is about 33 inches across right there. So we've got enough room to put maybe some storage there also. We'll see, and even possibly some upper storage. Well, here's the shower. So the shower was a standalone shower, $400 off Amazon, and I got one of the oh shoot, I forget what they're called, shower heads. We had one in our fifth wheel. It mixes air with the water, so it actually feels like you're getting more water and does a better job of rinsing and everything. So went with another one of those. But this is just a cheap shower. Like I said, it's a standalone shower. And then I put it up on a base. And so I'll show you that also on some photos at the end of the video. But the base is to get it up for, one is to have clearance for the drain. And the drain I'm not using a regular P-trap kind of thing. It's a different device. I'm going to use it both on the kitchen sink and the shower here. Works real well. Bottom line, just like a trap, it's preventing odors and stuff from coming back up your drain line, but it uses less space. And so I had to modify, make it work with the standard shower drain. So that was a little bit, that wasn't a big deal. Good old, what do you call it? Can't think of the name of the product all of a sudden. Anyway, JB Weld, that's what it is, JB Weld. And out of the leaks that I have in my plumbing system at this point, that's not one of them. So let's take a look. Let me get light and we'll take a look underneath here. Well, first off, you can see the drain in the background there. Try to get a little better light on it. But yeah, it comes out of the shower pan, goes to that drain, and then goes to a Y. And so one side of the Y is coming from the shower drain, the other side is going to come from the sink, and then it goes down through the floor to the gray tanks. Right here's my pump, and then beyond the pump there, you can see the, I don't have the electronics hooked up, but that's the water meter sending unit. And then there's a T, and the T is right back in there for the, so after the pump and the water meter sending unit, it comes to a T here, and then comes over here to a valve, and then we'll go to the hot water tank, which is not hooked up yet because I made a mistake and ordered the wrong size connections here. Right size female, but it was PEX A instead of PEX B, and I didn't notice it when I ordered. So I had to order the correct ones, and I'm waiting on that. Now, let's talk about some of the issues I have. Well, before we leave the bathroom, there's the light and fan, and there's a lot of work to still be done in here, trim-wise and so forth. But so yeah, my shower base is bolted to the floor, and then the shower pan is bolted to that, and it's all, I mean, it's rigid. And then I have a Nautilus door that will go in here also. So back to what I was saying, issues. Well, I've got, 4 leaks. I've got a little leak here. This is the line going up to the shower head. And can't really test the hot. So I don't know if this is because I got the valve closed so that, the hot isn't connected to anything on the water heater side. So anyway, but this is just a little small leak here. A drop every 5-10 seconds. My biggest leak is right here. Got a drop about every 1.5 seconds coming out of the cold side here. Like I said, haven't been able to test the hot side, but I'm going to take it for granted that it may have an issue. These darn plastic fittings, don't like them. So anyway, we're going to do some more research. I think I found a Loctite product that I'm going to use, but I'm going to do a little more research on what's the best thing for sealing those threads. So I've got these 2 leaks. I got a little tiny leak on the sending unit, on the water meter sending unit. It just a little tiny I mean, after running this thing quite a bit and everything, you got about a, I don't know, silver dollar size after, 15, 20 minutes. And then that little leak on the inlet to the gray tanks. So that's my four leaks, which that's a lot. One leak is enough to, piss me off. So having four of them, so this is all going to come off. Take this fitting off. These three fittings will come off and get the treatment. Same way on the gray tank, pull that one off, seal it. Not sure what I'm going to do on that sending unit yet. I have to look at that. It's supposed to seal. It's got plastic seal in there, and but they're tightened all the way down, so can't. They're bottomed out. So maybe some thread lock, a thread sealant on that also will do the trick. But anyway, kind of a pain. I'll cut these PEX fittings off and remove the fittings and seal them. Redo the connectors, and hopefully we're good to go and can move on to things that are, more enjoyable than makes it. I was looking at this. It makes it look like this is not level. This is level. My hole's off right here. That's off, so it makes this not look level. But anyway, you won't see this because it's inside the wall. It's exposed now until I get all my plumbing issues resolved and so forth. So anyway, yeah, I filled the tank up about a quarter of the way and check things. My final test, of course, I will fill the tank up all the way and fill up the rear tank all the way. Make sure that the vent line doesn't leak or the fill line doesn't. It doesn't leak filling it, but I don't know once the water level's up that high if there be an issue or not. So yeah, we're going to do some more testing before we close things up. And then my next step, after I get my fittings and I can test the hot water side, we'll actually plug in the hot water heater and run it at temperature, make sure everything's kosher. And after the plumbing's done, we're done in here for now. Like I said, I come back, I'm going to be building a cabinet in here, and I got to trim out the bathroom. Of course, there's flooring going in. It's going to be one of the floating floors, so the baseboards and stuff will go in last. So also, if there's going to be a cover over that, I just wanted, that's access. So I have access on three sides, as you saw. So if there's ever a plumbing issue, I can, get in there. I need to change the pump, whatever. It gives me access to things, and mainly for inspection. I want to be able to make sure that the thing is operating properly, no leaks. And you notice I kept all my plumbing one little spot. Don't like plumbing. I don't like. And so anyway, worst case scenario, you have a massive failure. You just lower the tongue and let all the water run forward. Protect the rest of the trailer. I don't know. Don't like leaks. So anyway, once this is finished, the next thing will be cutting windows. And they're going to be in the back here. You can see I'm in different phases of completion. And so anyway, but the windows will be next. And then once the windows are in, I'll finish the walls, finish taping the insulation, all that stuff will be completed. And then once that's in, then I'll do the ceiling, and then later on the bed lift, so forth. But
after the walls and ceiling, then there'll be the cabinets. And like I said, I'm going to use off-the-shelf cabinets, and then they're going to have to be modified to fit. Well, you can see right here, it's going to go right next to this, this tank in the wall. It's going to go over that, so there'll be a cutout on the end of that cabinet, and it will attach to my wall. But part of the wall will be open from inside the cabinet. Again, inspection, so forth. There's going to be a shelf on top of the water tank, so going to use that area between, the sink will be towards one end down here, this end of the water tank, and then the other side will be all storage. And then beyond that, we're going to have a rollout for the refrigerator, which I showed you in a previous video, and then the rest of it storage, and it just goes back 6 feet. So the counter on this side will be the counter and then cabinets 6 feet, and 6 feet uppers also. So anyway, that's what's upcoming. You can see you got a mess of wires right here, which reminds me another thing that's going to be done before I move on is I got to run the wire for the outlet for the water heater, and there's a GFI outlet that's going to go with the counter in there, so that you can plug in a curling iron, hair dryer, or whatever. So 2 dedicated circuits in the bathroom, one for the hot water and one for the general bathroom use. So that's progress so far. It's kind of hard to get anything done when you have nothing but interruptions. So still have 2 businesses that I run, so yeah, this is not getting the attention I'd like to give it, but we're getting there slowly but surely. So thanks for joining me. Hope to see you next time.